So, UEFA has officially scrapped the away goals rule for all their competitions, Champions League, Europa League, and I guess kind of the Conference League, even though it never happened. And I think obviously this is a little bit over 24 hours since it happened, had time to digest it, and I just want to talk about it a little bit. Obviously, my initial reaction, I think the human reaction to change is why, was there ever really a problem with it? I never really noticed it too much. I mean, by getting rid of the away goal, you lose such iconic moments. Like the first one that comes to memory is Spurs versus Ajax in the semi-finals. Spurs were 30 seconds away from being knocked out in the semi-finals. Onana, the Ajax keeper, had a goal kick, and with like 10 seconds to go, Lucas Morris scores, completes his hat trick, and it was incredible moment. It was incredible to watch live there, and they progressed through on the away goals. Even like the Barcelona 6-1 against PSG, even though like when I think it was Cavani scored their one goal at the Camp Nou, it kind of there was hope building, and then it was just like, it's done. It's done. They've got an away goal all over, and yet they still somehow got through, and it just made Sergio Roberto scoring that goal even bigger of a moment with that one there. So I think obviously it's like you're going to lose those moments because I think the Barcelona PSG one, I mean, it wouldn't have felt as iconic. Still iconic, one of the greatest ever comebacks, but it wouldn't have been as better. And that Lucas Moura goal, instead of Spurs going to the Champions League final, they're going into extra time. But what I will say that I am really happy with is that means extra time is actually even now. Like both teams have a fair chance of winning. I never liked how a team in extra time, when it goes to extra time, the away team, their goals basically count for 1.5. Like Arsenal versus someone last year in the Euro. Last year or the year before, I don't know, in the Europa League, went to extra time. They both scored one, and then Arsenal lose because they're at home. Like, that's what I found it was a really unfair advantage because as much as, like, yes, you get a lot more support in away, support from from home fans, it doesn't make that big of a difference that you can't both score one goal in extra time and a winner is declared from that. I think I probably would have preferred they just get rid of the away goal in the extra time because to me that's where the big problem lied. I thought they might have done it because with COVID and all the stuff that have come from there, you had no fans, you had neutral ones. I thought it'd be appropriate to get rid of the away goals when there's no fans in stadiums. But now that fans are back, I'm not really sure too much about that. Another one I thought of was just like, although not to the same caliber, teams during when you're playing league games, the away goals isn't a thing. Like even like back here in the A-League when Wellington Phoenix versus Perth Glory, there's probably not going to be many fans travelling from New Zealand to the westmost side of Australia. Like that's it there it would feel it's just as far as a Champions League game or a Europa League game where the away goal should count. Obviously, still not to that stature, but I think that might have come into the thinking of UEFA when they were thinking about this. Like, well, league games, you've got an away and home fans, and that doesn't really change. Like, it doesn't. There's no. advantage or disadvantage for teams there. So why does it need to be in Europe? It's yeah. I did see someone on Twitter or Instagram. I don't know. There's someone in the comments say that that this decision is good because teams always play slow and play for the draw to win on away goals. I mean, I never have necessarily thought about it. I've never noticed it where watching it like, oh, they're big ball and they're playing for the draw. But I could be wrong. I could just be just not watching it properly, I guess. Yeah. The main thing I've come to the conclusion of is that you can't necessarily say if it's a good or bad decision yet because we haven't seen it in action. That random person could be right. These games could be a lot more high paced, a lot more goals, or we could see it being dragged on for a lot longer and a lot more extra times and a lot more penalty shootouts when it comes to the knockout stages. So, is it a good decision? Is it a bad decision? Time will tell. If you come back in, when we come back in like a year or two and actually think about like, that's what this is, we've lived through this. Now let's look at how it's changed. And is that good? So I think, personally, I wouldn't have changed it. Maybe just an extra time, but not normal time. But am I completely outraged and that? No. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. And from there we can determine yes or no. But yeah, that's what we had.